What if I told you that doing well with money isn't really about what you know? It's not about spreadsheets or finding the next hot stock or having a fancy economics degree. What if it's mostly about how you behave? And what if how you behave doesn't come from a textbook, but from your unique life story, from the world you grew up in, the lessons you witnessed, and the fears and hopes you carry deep inside? This is the fascinating territory explored by Morgan Housel in his masterpiece, The Psychology of Money. This isn't a book that gives you the one right answer. Instead, it offers something more valuable, timeless stories and frameworks to help you understand your own financial brain and the brains of everyone else. For the next hour, we're going to step away from cold hard math and step into the messy, beautiful, and deeply human world of financial decision-making. We'll meet a janitor who died a multimillionaire and a billionaire who lost it all. We'll talk about the incredible power of just staying in the game. And we'll discover why the most important financial goal has nothing to do with a number in your bank account. So, find a comfortable space and let's explore the psychology of money. Morgan Housel starts with a humbling idea. Luck and risk are siblings. They are the twin forces that mean any financial outcome, good or bad, is never entirely due to sheer brilliance or sheer stupidity. Think of two people. One, a brilliant, hard-working investor who takes calculated risks but gets wiped out by an unpredictable, once-in-a-century market crash. The other, a mediocre investor who happens to buy a random stock because they like the logo, and it goes on to become the next Amazon. We see the outcome and craft a story to fit it. We call the first person reckless and the second a genius. But the real story is often about the hidden roll of the dice. This isn't to say skill and effort don't matter. They absolutely do. It's to say we should be less judgmental of others and more forgiving of ourselves. Knowing that not every failure is your fault and not every success is solely your doing changes how you see the financial world. This leads to a crucial mindset. Focus on the process, not just the outcomes. A good financial decision is one that was reasonable and logical based on what you knew at the time, even if a twist of bad luck made it fail. And a terrible decision can succeed through sheer luck, but that doesn't make it wise to repeat. If there's a secret to wealth here, it's not a stock tip, it's compounding. But we misunderstand it. We think of it as a mathematical formula. Housel asks us to think of it as a magical, almost unseen force. Warren Buffett is a fantastic example. His net worth is staggering, but a staggering fact is this. Over 90% of his wealth was accumulated after his 65th birthday. His skill isn't just picking stocks, it's being a phenomenal investor who has been able to let his investments compound, uninterrupted, for 3/4 of a century. The engine wasn't high returns, but good returns, sustained for an unthinkably long time. The lesson for us? The real magic happens in the later years, but you have to get to the later years. This is why survival is the most important part of any financial plan. Not getting rich quick, not beating the market, but staying in the game. Avoiding ruinous decisions, the single big bet that can wipe you out, the debt you can't service, the panic sell at the bottom. Financial success is less about hitting grand slams and more about consistently getting on base for decades. Now we get to the toughest psychological battles, the ones we fight with ourselves. First, the trap of moving goalposts. We all have a subconscious idea of what enough is. But in a world of social media and relentless comparison, enough is a mirage that keeps moving. The hedge fund manager making $10 million a year looks at his colleague making $11 million and feels poor. Housel argues that the hardest financial skill is knowing when to stop. To say, my goal is to have enough to be secure and free, and I am there. I will not risk what I have and need for what I don't have and don't need. This is tied directly to envy. It's more powerful than greed. You might be perfectly happy with your car until your neighbor pulls up with a new, shinier one. Financial decisions are rarely made in a vacuum. They're made in a crowded room where everyone is watching each other. The key is to run your own race. As the saying goes, the only way to win is to not play that game. Given all this uncertainty, luck, risk, our own emotions, what's the best practical tool? Housel champions the margin of safety. This means building a plan that doesn't require everything to go perfectly right. It's the gap between what you think you'll need and what you could possibly need. It's having savings when you lose your job. It's having a flexible budget when inflation spikes. It's being okay with lower returns as long as you don't lose capital. Life is a series of unpredictable tail events, the rare extreme things that swing everything. The 2008 crash, a global pandemic, a personal health crisis. You can't predict them, but you can prepare for their possibility by leaving a huge room for error. A plan that only works if the future looks exactly like the past is a fragile plan. We're drawn to dramatic financial stories. The genius who called the crash, the trader who made a killing on a wild bet. But Housel makes the case that the most successful financial lives are boring. They are built on frugality, consistent saving, sensible investing in broad index funds, and avoiding debt. They are absent of thrilling get-rich-quick schemes and catastrophic failures. The protagonist doesn't make the news. There's no movie about the person who diligently contributed to their 401k for 40 years and retired comfortably. But that's the point. Financial success is about good behavior repeated for a lifetime, not brilliance in a moment. Let your money have a boring story so you can have an interesting life. So, as we wrap up our journey through the psychology of money, let's gather the core lessons. Respect luck and risk. Be humble in success and gracious in failure, yours and others. Worship the compound. Time is your most powerful ally. Survival and consistency trump everything. Buy freedom. Define the goal of money as gaining control over your time and choices. Define enough. The relentless pursuit of more is a trap. The richest person is the one who is content with enough. Build buffers. Your plan must have a wide margin of safety for a world you cannot predict. Embrace the boring. Lasting wealth is a quiet, behavior-driven process, not a loud, event-driven one. Morgan Housel's final message is this: financial success is not a hard science, it is a soft skill. It's about how you manage your behavior, your expectations, and your relationship with a world ruled by chance. Master your own psychology, and you've mastered the most important variable in the equation. Thank you for listening.